Hello everyone, it's Tanya with Scribbles in Time. I'm going to do a flip through today of my latest journal, and I've titled this one All About Time. And the reason for that is because I've done this one, of course, as I do most of my journals, I've done it in a very masculine theme. I've also done it very oriented around time. And I used an old pocket watch on the front. I have kind of like, you'll see, I set my big bowl here. I have this big wooden dough bowl full of old pocket watches. So yeah, when I go through to try to start a journal, I try to pull out things that I collect and love and try to get inspiration from that. And so that was kind of my process with this book. And as I was going through all of these old pocket watches, I collect old pocket watches. I love them. As I was going through all of my old pocket watches, I kept hearing a tick, 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 tick. And that was really odd because these things are old. They don't work. I don't think any of them work at all, but I kept hearing one tick. And it was this one. And I thought that was so odd because y'all, this watch is so rusted. I don't understand, the mechanism of how a watch works, but apparently with movement, this thing will start ticking. And it doesn't do it every time. I'm trying to hear to see if I hear it now. Nope, don't hear it now. Well, it will occasionally start to tick, and it's just really odd. But anyway, in some kind of weird way, I thought that was just kind of my sign that this one was crying out to be used for this book. So I've attached it. Well, I actually did not attach it to the front. Let me kind of give you an overview of the book real quick, and then I'll talk more about that. So I did the pocket watch on the front. I already knew I wanted to kind of go that route with this book, but this kind of led me down a much more grungier and masculine look because I really had not known which watch I was going to use. And again, when this one was ticking, that was just kind of my sign that I wanted to use this one. So I went with a very grungy, masculine look, as you can see with the book. And again, I did title it All About Time. And here on the front, you'll see I've used the wristwatch band, and this thing is really old. It's not crumbly, but it's definitely more delicate than a new watch band. So I did not try to use this as a closure of any type. I just stitched it on and attached it onto the cover of the book just to add a neat little touch. I thought about pulling a closure around, but I didn't want anything tugging on this metal to cause this to start to break down any. So I just left it like it was. I did give it the look as if it was holding this vial into place on the book. But in actuality, I've attached this separate, but it does have the look as if it's holding that. I have no idea how old that is, but it's old. The book I did with the different covers, as I typically do. There is a writing journal here on the inside of the front of the book. So there's two covers here, and then there's a cover here, and a cover here, and then like a cabinet card here, and you'll see all the different layering. There's a cigar band, a vial, here's just some rusty metal, some old tickets and paper, cardboard. Of course, there's ink all over it. This is an old locker number, cheesecloth. So, and this is a piece of a spine right here that had crumbled off of one of these spines. So yeah, the spine is different layers, as I've done in the last several books. I'm trying to see if I can get the whole spine in here. And maybe if I turn it sideways, you can see it a little bit better. So yeah, this is what the spine looks like. And this is an old dog tag that I've kind of bent a little bit to conform it to the shape of the spine, which is kind of rounded. The back of the book cover, I've covered with muslin, and I've just really grunged it up. I did put some little corner protectors on this. You can barely see them though because they're so grungy. Definitely very grungy. So that's what the back looks like. And then back over to the front. So the top, view looks like this. The side view like this. And then the bottom like that. And so what I was going to say about the pocket watch, I have a hard time breaking down anything that's old. I just don't like to, I love to repurpose and give things a new life. But if I can avoid, you know, scarring it up in any way, I will try to avoid doing that. So with this pocket watch, I didn't want to like glue it and attach it to the front cover. Now, whoever gets this book is, you know, obviously welcome to do whatever they want to with it, but I wanted that to be their choice. So initially what I did was I hung the watch from a cord right there. And again, all through the time of me working on this book, it would just, you know, kind of start tick-tocking every now and then, tick, 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 tick. And I wish it would do it now, but it is not going to apparently. So anyway, but yeah, so I didn't actually attach it other than just by hanging it by a cord. But what ended up happening was as I worked on it, it was flopping around like it would flop, flop, flop. And I felt like that would be cumbersome to whoever received the book. So what I ended up doing was just attaching a very tiny piece of Velcro onto the back of the watch and onto the top of the cheesecloth, so that whoever gets the book, if you wanted to, for whatever reason, take this watch off, it's just a stick-on Velcro. It's not real strong. It's probably not going to be real long-term. You may want to end up adding glue if that would be your preference. But I wanted that to be the new owner's, decision to make, not mine. So I did it with Velcro. Again, glue can be added, or the Velcro can be removed, and someone can even add a photograph here, because this is an old cabinet card, very old. It came out of that 1800s photo album that I did my last journal from. So that's a very old cabinet card, and I didn't leave a slit to where you could add a picture, but you could always remove the pocket watch if you wanted to and just add a picture over it to where just the background of the cabinet card shows. And yeah, that's pretty much it with the cover. This is glass, but I think it sits down recessed enough on the book to where it would not get damaged in any way, because, if something got laid across it, it would definitely touch onto the clock before it would the vial. But it is glass, so I would say to be careful because of that. Over here, this is a piece of an old book spine here and down here at the bottom. Could you see that? I'm sorry. I'm trouble centering. I always do. But anyway, some old paper. I think that's everything. You can see all the different metals and stuff poking out. This is a gasket, a metal gasket here that I've attached some really old, very thin ribbon through. I mean, this stuff is just so thin and delicate. So yeah, you'll see that in just a moment. You'll see the other side of the gasket on the inside of the book. And you'll see all these different little goodies that are poking out in just a moment, which is what I like. I know I say this in every video, but I like for my books to be something when they're sitting on a table, they just evoke, like personality, and you want to just kind of dive in and see what all this stuff is that's poking out. That's kind of the goal I try to achieve with my books. So anyway, that's that. So we'll go ahead and flip in and get started here. So when you open oh, I didn't do measurements. Sorry. I laid my ruler here so I would not forget to measure. So yeah, I tried to measure right before I started the video. And like when you measure from the top of this metal here down to all of this kind of stuff poking out, we're somewhere right about 10, maybe 10 and a half if you're counting. Nah, still about 10 inches. And then without all of that metal and stuff, the actual cover itself is more like 8.5 for that that particular book cover. Now going this direction, because of this book cover poking out of the side here, we're more like around 7 inches. But then when you count all of this other stuff that's poking out, we're somewhere around 8.5. As far as the height of the book, from the top of this pocket watch, we're about 3.5 inches. Okay, finally got that out of the way. Let me move on now. So the front part of the book is the journaling portion. And it's just, you know, a lot of paper for writing on. All in total, there's 86 writing surfaces. That's counting front and back pages. And I will flip through and show you those, but I wanted to show you real quick the book that I've attached here. This was such a beautiful book. The pages in it were so fragile, they literally were breaking. I did salvage one. I don't know how well it will last. I did put it into a little plastic or kind of a cellophane type. I stitched it in. You'll see it farther in the book, but again, it's fragile paper. Don't know how long that will last, that piece of paper back there, but I'll show that to you in a moment. But the cover, so the name of this book was Merle's Crusade, and I could not find a date, a copyright date on the book. Now inside there was a title plate here, and it says Earl and Jan McClendon, 1954. But it just felt like the book was much older than that because the pages were so brittle. So I didn't think it had been left in the sun. It wasn't that faded. So I started researching, and it looks like Merle's Crusade's copyright was 1900. And that was the copy where I found other covers that looked like this one. So I think this must be like 1900. And I was able to save the spine. I did have to back it onto some cardstock. But that is the original spine here. You'll see it says Merle's Crusade. I think the author's last name is Carey. So that is the original spine to that book here on the spine. I always try, if I can, to use the original stuff that goes to these books, if I can. So anyway, back to this. When you open the book up, this is more of an art section here, and this is more of a journaling section. And I've kind of hand stitched in real sloppy a little hard case where you can slide a paintbrush or pencil. I did just kind of stick an old grungy pencil into there. So that's there on the front. And then when you open this up, again, the title plate is here. And then the pages of this, there's, I already said, is 86 writing surfaces. I didn't count some of these as writing surfaces because like some of this would be very hard to write on. So I didn't count these as writing surfaces. The actual writing surfaces are all this coffee and tea dyed paper. This is really cool. It's some kind, I got this in Happy Mail, and it is some type of a travel, it's some type of a travel record. Like I think it says duration of flight. It has all this thing about aircraft certificate mark, all this travel stuff on there, and like breakdown of trip time into classifications. So I don't know what that is, but it was really cool, and you can tell it's pretty vintage. The papers, I've used a rusty paper clip from my friend Kathy over at Rust Paper Scissors, and then an old ticket. Two signatures in this book. This is the center of the first signature. I'm going to come back to this envelope. Let's finish flipping through the actual writing pages, and then I'll come back to that. I tucked in a label from this ginger ale. This is a original label. I just kind of tucked that in there. I love just tucking papers into my books. I'm just trying to demonstrate to you all the paper, all the pages that are included. So we're into the second signature now. Again, I did this with a very masculine theme. I tried to constantly think as I would add stuff to the book. I mean, there's obviously things that are feminine about the book as well. You know, it's just part of the style, but I did try to do a masculine touch, and I tried to think of like a grandfather and what, you know, what he would kind of stick into a book. So this is the back of that gasket that I was showing you from the front of the book that you can see poking out here on the top. This is the back of it. This is the back cover of the original book with the gasket, and the gasket has a little bit of a tuck area here like this. You could slide a old picture or something up in here and use this kind of like a frame, but I had to attach this well enough to be secure to use as a tab. So there's a little bit of sliding space here and there, like where you can slide stuff, but it would be hard to get a whole entire picture up into here, but you could, see, you can work it around a little bit to do that. Oh, this is a cigar box label. And just a piece of ephemera there. And I kind of tuck these in like this for just some personality there on the back. And this is also a good place to actually bear down on any of the, paper that you want to write on. You can bear down here to write. Okay, so when you move over into the art, oh, I didn't go to the envelope. This envelope is in the center of the first signature of this journal. There's another rusty paper clip there. And I've just kind of tucked it full of stuff that I felt like a granddaddy would stick in his book. Here's some type of coupon, an old original coupon. This is a tag. And I think I can't remember what kind of tag this is, but it's metal and it's numbered. I think it's some type of a locker key tag. This is a Pennsylvania Railroad original tag. And then this is made out of an old piece of paper with writing on it. I just kind of tucked that into the envelope, and I kind of left it to where the metal piece hangs out, again, just to add some personality there. And then this is a leaf encompassed in a coin protector sleeve. And I've just done some stitching around that. And slid that there. And then this is just an old case, and it just has what I would think, again, something a grandpa would possibly, it's hard to open, which I wanted it to be hard to open because I didn't want the stuff to fall out. But I tried to put stuff in there that I would think a grandfather would kind of throw into a case and stick in an envelope in a book. But like a fuse, a paper clip, a little piece of twine, and some old paper, and just whatnot. It just, again, some personality. So that's in there. And I'll just kind of clip that. So now let's get over to the art section of the book. So again, this is the writing section, and then I call this the art section. And the reason I call it that, if you haven't watched previous videos, I make this whole section out of mixed media paper. And the thought process on the mixed media paper is that if whoever gets the journal can slap some gesso all over the paper, even though I've gessoed it up pretty well. You can put gesso all over it and actually paint onto the pages or sketch or whatnot. Or you can even just write in the little areas that are blank. These do have a lot of collaging on them, just for, again, personality. I try to do this part to where it's got enough personality and art in it just by itself. But if the person wants to go in and add more, they can. You can gesso it and use the paper, for your own art paper. So on this first page, I know in a previous video I used the other piece of this sandpaper. This was my father-in-law's. He passed away several years ago, about, coming up on 3 years ago. And when we cleaned out his workshop, I held on to this old piece of sandpaper. It's just real old and grungy, and I loved it. And so I kind of put this here, but this is a book dart, and I did attach that and used it kind of as a tuck space, but these book darts are very thin, so they don't hold real well. So in addition to that, I just kind of used I attached this, and then I just kind of used a paper clip to kind of hold all of this together. So that's what that's all about. And this is just a piece of ephemera with some collaging here on the paper. I tried to tuck that enough so that the owl shows. This is some type of gasket. It's paper that is folded around 2 pages in this signature. So you'll see the other half of it on the back page in just a moment. I did attach twine around it just so that's more stuff that's poking out. And then attached here to the top of the page, let me lift the book up. That's a piece of a wristwatch right there. And then this is a it's a functional little pocket watch. And again, I did not want to attach that to the page permanently, So I stitched it onto this piece of fabric that's running down the, in between the spine and the first page of the signature. There's just a piece of grunged up fabric. And so I've stitched the pocket watch onto that so that if anyone wants to snip that off, they can. This is a functional watch. It is tick-tocking right now, keeping time. Okay, I think that's everything with this page. So let's flip her on over. This page is as grungy as it is. There's some material up here, and you can see the other side of that piece of that wristwatch. And as grungy as this is, there is gesso on it. It is textured with the gesso. All of the pages are. But again, you can re-gesso over this, sand it down, and paint on it if you choose to, or just use it as is. In my journal, I actually paint over all of this, and it's I use all of this as part of the background of my paintings. So that's definitely an option. On this side, I attached a pocket watch case. It's missing the inside of the watch. So you'll see that. I have a bunch of these. Let me show you. So see, I have a bunch of these in my bowl that are missing the insides of the watches. This is probably my favorite one here. So yeah, I'm trying to think if that's all of them. I think so. So yeah, I just used a pocket watch case, and then I filled it with all kind of neat stuff that I would again think that a grandpa would stick into something to hold on to, like a little piece of a note and some washers, and I can't remember everything in there. I guess it'll be a mystery because that is attached now. I did not seal this in any way, so I guess you could technically pry that open, but it is attached to the sheet pretty well, so I don't know if you could actually pop that open or not, but the way you get it open is to actually pop the back off. And then I used this. This is some tape that my friend Dee sent to me, and another label. Again, this is attached here, but I didn't want to attach this in case someone wants to use that in a different way. I just kind of tucked it in there. And then this is a, it says Railway Express Agency. You can feel it and tell it's very old, very thin. And I thought it went appropriately because of the glass on this. So I kind of tucked it in there like that. And then when you flip this page, I put some fabric coming down between these two pages. This could be snipped out if you wanted to do some type of painting on these, or I would leave it as is. An old tree, that's a feather. This is an actual, like, I thought this is a digital here, and it has like my vision of what a grandfather would look sitting at a table. I think he's even holding a pocket watch. I just thought that was just a good image to portray in this book. Over here is an old clothing tag. It says Master Buck Sportswear by Buckeye. Oh, am I even in frame? Ooh, sorry. So that's that. Another tree picture. And this is the other side of that gasket, the paper gasket. And you'll see that I used some brads to put in these holes instead of the rope. And then I tied a piece of twine in between these two holes and attached just an old rusty washer there. And then this is a cigar box label. I've put a couple of those in here. I've already shown you the one. So that's there, and I just kind of tuck it in. Oh, you can see all the collaging behind it, and there's the other piece, the piece of the sandpaper that wrapped around the signature there. This is I said a title page, not a title page. It came in a cigar box. It's the display part of a cigar box. I got it from an actual cigar store, and I'm trying to remember where. It was on one of our trips, and I don't remember where we were, but we went into, my husband loves going into all the cigar shops when we go to the different places traveling, and I can't remember if that one came from Madrid or it may have, I think that one may have come from Blue Ridge. Not real sure. Wish I knew. These are some washers that I attached. This is the only signature where I left all of the other ones I did the hidden stitching in it to where the cords were not on the inside of the book. But on this one, I wanted to hang washers from the middle of the book. So I left the cording there so that I could attach these washers. This is a piece of burlap. Some grungy texture there. And then this is another coin protector sleeve. And I just opened it up and attached it across the bottom of this page. And I thought this was so pretty behind it. And then this is just a little journaling card with pocket watches on it. And there's a, I've attached a little charm made out of an old rusty paper clip. Paper clip. I just bent it all up and hung charms from it. And it's like the old key, the clock key, with a watch face and a watch hand. And I stuck it in there so that the two pocket watches show from the windows there. And then all of these kind of poke out from the side so that when the book is closed, you can see those poking out from the side. This page here, again, collaging with the textured gesso. I did sand over it to give it more of a smooth and it's a texture, but not a clumpy texture. It's just more of a smooth texture. And then I put some rusty washers up here I poked a hole through the page and put rusty washers to serve as hole protectors. And I tied the burlap bag through the hole in the page. And then, not burlap, this is a cotton bag. It's not burlap, sorry. And inside of the bag is this old ointment container. And again, inside of the ointment container is just some different little things that, again, I thought of as somebody just storing stuff inside of their book. You can certainly take the stuff out and store what you want, but for now there's some rusty washers, an old button, and a fuse, and then just a old piece of one of the cabinet cards that fell apart from the photo album. And again, it's an old ointment, Flood's ointment, Briggs, Oklahoma. And so that's inside of there, and then you just pull that tight so it doesn't fall out. And then on this page, of course, you can see the knot in the back of that rusty hole washer. And then there's just more of the collaging with the old fabric coming down the center. And plenty of writing space. This is dictionary page. This is some ticking, and what I did was I attached in this, again, I told you about this earlier, this is the old page out of that book, Merle's Crusade, that I used right here. This was the title page that I salvaged, and I put it inside of here, and it seems pretty well protected. I wouldn't bend it a lot, but I did attach it in here, and so I sandwiched the other side of this protector with this ticking and made kind of like a little pocket right here. And so inside of that pocket, I've just tucked an envelope and a little tag. And so you can almost flip it like a page, like that. This is another owl. Oh, here's the back of that page. It says, "It's all about time, not the hour, the minute, or even the second. It's all about what you choose to do with it. It's all about time." So the name of this book is All About Time. And this page here, I've used one of the metal tags as a tab. And then more of the paper. Some more fabric coming down between the pages. Y'all, I love these. This is, I have a whole, I probably have about 25 or 30 of these. It's a cigar box label that, you know, attaches to cigar boxes. And I love using these as my page tabs. First of all, if you put it on the edge of a page, it actually sticks out like that. I just love it. I think it just adds so much personality. And I did back it because it is just a thin, you know, label for a cigar box. So it's pretty thin. So I backed it with this shipping tape. And then I've attached with a, y'all know I can't make it through a video without my mind going blank. An eyelet. Sorry, I always want to say a gasket. An eyelet, a metal eyelet there. And I just attached some grungy fabric and some dyed paper pieces and a key with a pin. This is the back of the cover, and this is handmade paper. I ordered this off of Etsy. It has not really much of a texture. When I ordered this one, I don't know if you've watched previous videos, but I've used the other green ones in that. And a lot of those have texture. This one doesn't really have a lot of texture to it. I mean, I guess it has a little, but I thought the look of it was very pretty. So yeah, that's that. And that's the back of the book. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. Comment below. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up, please. And subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. And I hope you all have a blessed day.